I cannot tell. Can you guys hear these kids out here? They are so loud. I hope you did not hear them the entire video. They're screaming at their Roblox. Do your kids do that? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Oblong Polka Dots and my name is Kerr, and on this channel we talk about makeup, skincare, and beauty. So if that's something you're into, you've come to the right place. Today I'm going to use some items that are in my Shop My Stash video that I just filmed and shared with you guys. I'll be doing more of those. But what happened was, and I explained this in the video I think, I actually tried to film a look with this palette the other day, but my camera was not working. I went ahead and made the look anyways, and I loved it so much and I got a lot of compliments. So I'm going to recreate that same look using the same palette. I am going to throw in a couple of new products though that I haven't tried out yet, and I'll explain those to you a little bit later in the video as we go along. So let's start as we always do by priming the face. I'm using the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer to no one's surprise. I am loving this primer right now. I do like this more than I do the previous one they came out with in the little disc. I do like that one, but this one I like more. I think this one just has, for me, a better feel or better performance. And I am like, I must be using this to death because I'm going to tell you something. I can feel that there's like probably this much left, if that much. So yeah, clearly I'm in love with this stuff. I'm really enjoying it. So I got mine, I think, on the e.l.f. website because I believe at the time it wasn't being sold at Ulta. I don't know if it's being sold at Ulta now, but you might want to check because you can earn points if you buy it at Ulta. And it's pretty accessible. It's a very affordable primer compared to, say, something like Smashbox or, like another higher end primer. So our face is primed, and we are actually going in today with quite a few new products, as I just mentioned. Since I'm not really sure how they perform, I don't really want to put anything else on my face, just in case I need to wipe something off. So we're just going to start off with the eyes, and to prime my lids for the eyes, we're going in with Laura Mercier's Bed of Roses, this caviar stick. I like to use these as a primer, as a base, so that whatever shadow I put on top of it is really going to pop. Another popular product that people do that with is the P. Louise base, which I do have, or they'll also use some of the Danessa Myricks pigments. They do the same thing. They have slightly different formulas, but if you let them dry down or you set them and then put the shadow on top of it, what it does is those shades, just like this one here, cancel out the color that's underneath, allowing for whatever shadow you put on it to pop. And in this case, I chose pink because the palette that we're using is pink. And the look that we're going to put together is very pink. I'm not necessarily hopping on the Barbie trend. Pink just happens to be one of my favorite colors for eyeshadows. I think it looks really pretty, and I like the contrast that pink has against the brown of my skin. So I just like the way that it looks. These caviar sticks are amazing. If you guys don't have one, I definitely suggest going in store, swatching them, figuring out which one you like, and buying one. I love them. I use them constantly. I think that they're definitely worth the price point. They are just high quality. So we're going in with this Morphe 9J Just a Crush palette, and here's what it looks like. This is one of those little 9-pan palettes where they put the plastic on top of it that has all the names of the shadows. So if you want to know the name of the shadow, you're going to have to keep that little plastic slip. So this is what the palette looks like, and we're going to grab ourselves a flat brush. We're going to get ourselves a little fluffy brush, and then a smaller brush to do a little bit of detail work, and maybe even another brush to do a little mirroring for the lower lash line. So let's grab one of these also. I have so many brushes packed into that little thing that they're all stuck in there. So these are the brushes that we're going to use for today. Let's start off with the crease. So if I recall, I believe that I use this shade here How come I'm so awkward today, you guys? How do I hold this so you can see it? There we go. There we go. Okay, I believe I used this shade for my crease. These shadows, and I don't think it's picking up on camera, but I hope it does a little bit, have a little bit of sparkle in them. So just be aware of that. If you were expecting something that was a flat matte, I think that there are three flat, or two, maybe two flat mattes, maybe three in this palette. But I like sparkles and I like glitter, so we'll go with the glitter and the sparkles for me. Yes, I would like a order of sparkles and glitter, please. So we're just going with that nice bright fuchsia shade into the crease, and we're going to bring it up a tiny little bit. We're going out towards the eyebrow, and we're just pulling straight out versus going up and down. So I hope you can see that it's kind of like a swoosh, like a shoo, like that. And you have to do the sound effect to make it work right. Just kidding. So we're throwing this on top of, do you see what I mean? Why I use that Laura Mercier caviar stick. You can use another brand's eyeshadow stick, but just make sure whatever you do use, it's one that's long lasting and won't crease. And you can really blend a shadow on top of it, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that's going to work with the shadow that you're working with, not against the shadow that you're working with. Already. You could just wear this look by itself and be done with it. Throw on some liner and a little mascara and you're done. But today we want to do the most. So let's get in and do that. All right, so we're working that color in. We're going a little bit higher than the crease, just a scotch. We're going to deposit a little more color on this side. And if you notice, when I dip my brush into the pan, when I first set it down, I start off here towards the outside because I want the majority of the shadow to deposit out here versus in here. I like to do my shadow in a gradient, which means I really want it to be brighter on the interior of my eye towards my tear duct and deeper along the exterior of my eye right here. Okay, I think that's good. So we're looking glamorous, glamorous, glamorous. Okay, now we're gonna go in and we're gonna have a little more control because of the next shadow that we're grabbing for. I don't wanna go overboard with it, and it's very easy to do. We're gonna use this deeper purple right here. And we're using that along the outer lid. So we're gonna start close to the lash line and we're gonna pull it up, just like that. Can you see how much deeper it is though? And that's why we want a smaller brush, so we have a little more control over how we decide to get this outer V going. If you use a larger brush, you're going to pick up a lot more pigment and you're going to have less control over where that pigment is deposited. So oftentimes when it comes to makeup, it's really about technique and tools. It's not always about the product. You can go in and buy yourself a little essence palette for $5 and come out with a banging look. I mean, you'll look like $1,000,000. But the trick is that it has to do with your technique and your tools. That's the bottom line. Okay. See how that deepens up the outer V compared to the other eye? That's what we're going for. We don't want to go overboard with it, mind you. So we're just going to go in baby steps and just do a little bit at a time. And we already have a line of demarcation, so we know how far out we can go. Or I should say, we know how far out we should go. And you're just trying to make a little triangle like this. Just like this. That's what they mean by the outer V, because it's in the shape of a V. And using your lash line as a guide is helpful because then you know how far up and down you need to go with your letter V to actually make it look like a V versus not having a line that is very clear. So in other words, you can make it so that it's kind of muddied like a circle, or you can make it more defined by using your lash line to kind of guide you between the two areas. I hope I'm explaining this clearly. If I'm not, let me know in the comment section and I will explain it in a different way. So again, we're just depositing a little bit of that shadow right there. We're coming right down to the lash line and we're going no higher than the natural crease. We're not going up here with that. We're staying right here. And then if we do go overboard, like say we come out here too far, it's fine because we're going to be able to clean it up. And that's the whole point of not doing your face first. That's the whole point of doing your eyes first. If you do your eyes first and you jack some stuff up and you want to move some things around, you have plenty of space to do it. If you lay down your face first, like your base and all that, it's very difficult to do that without having to reapply primer and whatever else you had going on. So to avoid all of that, and also just to avoid wasting product, it's easier to just do it this way. Girl, I got eyelashes all up and eyelashes all over the place. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. You know those hair, skin, and nail vitamins? Shout out to my best friend. You know who you are. She suggested I take those and they really work. I started taking them a few months ago when she had come out to visit, and you were absolutely right. They really do work. I'm taking the same fluffy brush. There's nothing on it. And I'm just pulling this out a little bit. Just a little pull here. Because we're going to end up cleaning some of this up, but I want to have enough room to be able to clean it up. Kind of like I have on this side. Okay, so now the next shade that I use, we're going to grab this flat brush like this. It's much bigger. It covers a lot more of the eye. And we're going to go in with this other kind of bright sparkly purple, which is right here. This one, I don't mind picking up a lot of product because we literally going to be using it for almost a third of the eye. So we have plenty of surface by which to cover that base. So we're not actually blending, we're stamping. We're just patting it down. See that pat pat motion? See how that deposits the color? And we're patting in such a way that we are overlapping that deeper purple that we just laid down. We're not on top of it completely, but we're kind of adjoining the lines so that you have a more seamless look. So you have a seamless transition between that deeper purple and this purple. And the reason you want that is because it makes your look seem more flawless. It looks professional. It looks like, it just looks good. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm pointing out if you're looking for a more seamless transition or something that looks a little more professional, then you might want to try it that way. So we're using the same brush, but we're going to take it and just flip it over to the other side. And now we're going in with a lighter color. So we're going to grab this one right here in the center. And again, this is going to overlap. So you just laid that one color down, and now we're laying this one right next to it with a slight overlap. And again, we're not rubbing anything, we're just patting. That's all we're doing, is we're just patting the color down. So now you have 3 different colors all in a row, but they look like a gradient. That's the look that we're going for, is a gradient. And then lastly, we're going to go in with this lighter pink shade right here. And that's going to be the one that's closest to our tear duct. Now, normally if you want to have it a little more control over it, you would grab a smaller brush similar to the one that we had earlier, but I'm confident that I can just throw this on. So we're going to dip our brush in there and we're just going to go right here. And this is just me patting it down. You can see I'm not doing anything but a stamping motion. And please be gentle with your eyes. Please be gentle. You don't have to cram the brush into your eye. That's unnecessary. Just gently pat with the brush right there. And there you go. That's your transition between the darkest shade and the lightest shade on your lid. And it's very easy to do. Just take your time with it. You're not in a hurry. I don't think anyways, unless you're in a hurry. In which case, you still should be careful. Please. All right, so we have all of our shadows on. I think that it looks good. We are going to go set our little palette down for a minute, but we're not putting it away, because what we're going to end up doing is we're going to mirror the shadows along the lower lash line. So we're going to keep our brushes out because we're going to reach for all of this again in a minute. But what we are going to look for is some fallout before we finish the rest of the face. So grab yourself a little wipe or whatever tools that you normally use to clean up your look, and then go ahead and clean up. So I just have a little wipe here. I do have some fallout along the bottom, and you can see right here, it's not a lot, but it's enough that had I laid down my base, it would have gotten on my last nerve to have to go through, redo my base, clean all that up. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy doing makeup, but I'm not trying to like do the same thing 4,000 and 5,000 times because, you know, I don't want to do that. All right, so right before we get going, we're going to take that same fluffy brush that we had earlier, and all we're doing is making sure that we have all of these shadows blended together right here, just below the brow bone. We're doing this because it makes it look less harsh. Can you see that? Between the two eyes? And we're doing it here too. We got a friend over here. Don't leave the friend out. We're just pulling all of those shades together and we're blending them back and forth carefully just below the brow bone. And it makes for a really beautiful, ethereal, transitioned look, so to speak. All right, let's get our face going because I done talked you guys' ears off. I don't think I need to lay down any more primer. That primer is primarily for like the oily areas. But what I do need to lay down is a concealer and a color corrector and stuff like that. So we're going to go in with our Milani Conceal and Perfect number 4 Nectar. This is to cancel out some of the gray that comes in below my eyes. It's normal. It's hereditary. It has nothing to do with sleep or anything. Everybody in my family gets it. But, you know, when you're doing your face, you don't necessarily want all that peeking through. And then also I have some melasma, so we're going to cover that up as well. I don't always cover it, but sometimes I like to. Okay. I really like this stuff a lot. So if you haven't checked it out, they do sell that Milani color corrector at Ulta. I would wait for a sale. Like right now is the 21 Days of Beauty. And I think that this video will go up before the 4th of September, in which case they do have a 5 times the points event. So you could make your purchase during this time, get 5 times the points, and then use your points next time towards something that you want to purchase because they convert their points to cash, which I love. That's why I shop at Ulta all the time. So I have here the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. It's the Eaze Drops. I have mine in the shade 20. I've never worn this before. If you saw my Shop My Stash video, you know this is going to be a try on here for me. I bought this a long time ago. I just haven't worn it. I am notorious for that, you guys. I really am. I'm not going to use a lot of products. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit here on the back of my hand, about a pump's worth or a pump and a half worth. And we're going to see what this is like. It's very, I think it's supposed to be like a tint. So it's pretty runny. You can see it running down my hand. It also appears to be a little bit red. So I don't want to go overboard with it because if I do wear any kind of base, it needs to err on the side of either neutral or a little more yellow than red. Because red is like too heavy for me for some reason. It doesn't work out for my tone. A slight red is okay. So first impression is it's very light, and I'm going to need another little squeeze from that bottle. Also, it's thin. It feels thin. It doesn't feel like anything at all is on my skin. So if you're not a fan of being like putting products on your face and feeling it, this might be a good option for you. I do believe that they have a lot of shades that are available in this line, so you might want to check it out. I have no idea about how it wears though, so I'll have to tell you guys about that later. I'm hoping though that it works well with the primer and that it doesn't get too oily. So the way that it's sitting on my skin, I would say it's kind of similar to the Yves Saint Laurent skin tint. I think it's similar to that. I would not say it's anything like the L'Oreal True Match. I don't think it's like that serum foundation at all. That one is like very hydrating, very it feels like serum. This does not feel like that. This feels like the equivalent of somebody put pigment into a jar with some kind of fluid just to carry the pigment. But the fluid isn't necessarily meant to do anything. It's not meant to hydrate. It's not meant to, do anything except to carry the pigment. So that's what it feels like. It's very light. I cannot feel it on my skin at all, which I do like. I think the color match is okay. I wish that it were not so red because, as I mentioned, and maybe we'll be able to fix this up a little bit or finesse it somehow with my concealer. So I'm using the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. This is in the shade 470. You've seen me use this 10 million times by now. We're going to slap a little bit of this on here, and then we'll blend it in and see what happens. I also have a setting powder that I'm going to put on and see if we can tone down this red a little tiny bit. Okay, let's see what it do. So we're just going to take this and blend it in. This Lancome concealer works well with everything I have used. I don't think I've picked one product yet that it does not work with. So if you're in the market for a new concealer and you're looking for something that is long lasting, works well with other products, is easy to set, and has a ton of shades and undertones from which to choose, this is it. I believe so far in all of the makeup I've used over the years, this is my #1 for concealers, hands down. I love the way it feels. I love the way it applies. I love the way it plays with other products. And I really love the fact that they have a range that supports like real life skin tones. People that are all the way super duper fair to people that are super duper deep, and everybody in between. So I think Lancome did a really good job with that. You can see though how that concealer kind of helped to counteract a little bit of the red. Still, I have the feeling that the powder is going to have to like seal the deal. So let's see what that looks like. We're going to go ahead and set the face with the Ruby Hisses HD Set and Forget setting powder. This is the one I've been using. This is the one I also warn you guys about every single video. Do not use too much. Don't use too much. You'll be casket ready. Don't do it. I put a whole bunch in this cap though, but part of the reason I did that is because we're going to try and see if we can counteract some of this red. This falls under the camp of you don't want no problems, you just talk like you do. There we go. That's better. Much better. Okay, so I can say if you have oily combination skin, then this What are they called again? Eaze drops? What's this called? Girl? Yeah. This Eaze drops tint is going to work well for you, especially if you have oily skin. If you have dry skin, I say use a hydrating primer because it is relatively drying. So keep that in mind if you have drier skin. Or even if you have patches of dry skin, like a lot of people do. Like I have a patch right here. I don't know why. It's just a patch of skin that's dry. Why am I holding my brush like this? All crazy? Ah. Okay. Oh, you guys, I'm in a silly mood. All right, so now we're going to grab a couple more products. One I did feature in another video when I first used it. It's the Pat McGrath bronzer. This one is the Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer Bronze Divinity. Yes, and when I first bought it, I wasn't sure that this was my shade, honestly, but it does work for me, so, and I like it. It's really easy to work with. Like, see that a little bit on the brush? And it has that kind of red tone to it that's not overwhelming. It's closer to a chocolate than a red. And I like my bronzers to be closer to brown than to red. So I was pleasantly surprised when I began to use this. There we go. And we're just doing that, oops, girl, I hit my elbow. We're just doing that the number 3 method, where you just go like this, like 1. See? Can you see the number 3 on my face? That's all we're doing. It's really nothing fancy, you guys. Anybody can do bronzer, I promise. Don't be intimidated by bronzer. There. Warms up the face, but not too much. And then next we have, this is a product that is new to me. It's a Gucci Blush Debutée Cheeks and Eyes Powder. And it says Rosy Beige number 5. Now, hear me out, because when you look at this, you're going to be like, I don't know about that one, girl. But I believe when I was in the store, I swatched this before I bought it. Because yes, it does look like it's light, but I'm telling you, I did swatch it. So, whew, let's see. We got our trusty e.l.f. brush here. And we're just going to go, oh yeah, this is fine. It's fine. It's just a mauve. That's all it is. Ooh. And it's buildable, so we're good. I told you I swatched it. Over here doubting me. I hear you. Do you see that? It's like a nice rosy glow on the cheek. Oh, that's pretty. Look how girly. It has a scent to it. It smells like department store. You know what I mean? You know that department store scent? Can you see that? It is light, but it works well with my tone, so I'm happy about it. Because one thing we do not want is to spend money, especially on a Gucci blush, and it don't work. Because, yeah, we're not doing that in 2023. Oh, this is so pretty, you guys, and it's really buildable. I hope it's picking up on camera. I'm going in a little bit heavier than I normally would because I want you to be able to see it. It's very ethereal, and you know how much I love that. Oh, so pretty. I like it. Hello. Hello, little goslings. Nice. Yeah. All right, Gucci. Gucci for the win. Because let me tell you something. Just because it's a like a famous brand or a how do you call it? Just because it's like a luxury brand does not mean that the products are good. Don't be fooled, you guys. When you see these luxury brands have their products and all that other stuff, don't always believe that it's high quality. Don't. Go in and test it for yourself. Try it out. See what you think, because the last thing you want to do is waste your coins. You're not going to be doing that. We're not doing that here. We don't do that here. All right, so now we're going to do the thing I told you that we were going to do. We're going to mirror. So we're going to take those same shades that we used on the lid, and we're going to mirror them on the bottom. Remember that little flat brush I told you about? Yeah, that's what this is for. So we're just going to go in, and we're just going to do a little mirroring. Okay, we're all friends here. And we're starting off with that darker color. And all we're doing is tying that bottom into the top. Can you see that? We're just tying in the bottom and the top. Because I don't typically line my lower lash line because I feel it closes my eye off. But I do like to mirror the shadow underneath because I think that it looks nice. I think it really gives a more finished look. Just like that. And then we're going to go in with that, what was this one? The brighter one. And we're just mirroring what we did on the top. That's all we're doing. It's not complicated, you guys. Just look at the top and decide what color you want to do next in that section. And take your time with it. You don't need to rush through this process. It's the same as you would be doing on the top, so just be careful, be mindful. Ta-da! Okay. And there it is. Top and bottom are mirrored. Yay! Do I love this palette? Yes. The Morphe palettes are so easy, you guys. They're an easy reach. They are typically, in my experience, they've been high quality. I've had no problem with them. So if you're looking for a palette that's reliable and you're looking for one that's at an accessible price point, and more importantly, one that you can purchase, try out, you can buy it on sale, I suggest going to Ulta and buying your Morphe palettes there. Now, I know they were supposed to go out of business and all that, but I still see them there, so I'm assuming everything is fine. We're going to go in with a couple of liners. Now, I know I told you I don't normally line my lower lash line, and I don't, but I'm going to in this case. Let's do the top first, though. This is from Urban Decay. It's called Love Drug. As you know, Urban Decay makes some of my favorite eyeliners, if not my favorites, aside from NYX. I feel like Urban Decay and NYX are pretty comparable in terms of quality, performance, variety. I think they're comparable. However, I do believe, and this is why I keep buying the Urban Decay ones at the ridiculous price point that they are now, that the Urban Decay liners in my waterline last longer than the NYX liners. And since I always line my waterline, this is why I use Urban Decay frequently. For my lower lash line, oh wait, let's do the other eye too. Have you ever done that before, you guys? Have you ever done your makeup, got to work or wherever you were going and realized that you forgot to do something? And it's like no one else notices, but it bugs you. So for example, you put on your mascara on one eye and forgot to put your mascara on the other eye. I have totally done that before. And I would like to say I've only done that once, but you know that would be a lie. Girl, please. I've done that several times. And it's funny because nobody ever notices, although every once in a while, someone may look at me and I can tell they're trying to figure out, like, where's the variable, but they can't put their finger on it. I'm going to use Woodstock, also from Urban Decay, and this is what I meant. I'm going to use this on my lower lash line. The reason I'm using it is because it's not going to close off my eye. I don't typically line my lower lash line because using a deeper liner closes off my eye and it makes me look older. So what we're not going to do is make me look older. I'm already aging just fine, thank you. So we're popping that in there just like that. And look at how pretty. Isn't that fun? It's a nice bright bubblegum pink. I know what I said. I know I said I wasn't doing a Barbie look. I know I said that. You don't need to remind me. I heard myself say it. But if I were to do a Barbie look, this is what it would be. Let's spray our face and do our lips and all the other. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's get our brows done. This is from MAC. It's the pencil in this shade Spiked. Or Spike. I always say Spiked. It is Spiked. Yes, past tense, spiked. My brows are tattooed, so I don't actually need to do this, but I do like to fill them in sometime for a little razzle dazzle. And today is one of those days where I want a little razzle dazzle. Plus there's just a couple few sparse areas that I need to go back into the woman that did my brows and just have her touch them up. I just have not had time to make an appointment. A little here, especially right now because I feel like every time I could go in to see her, I'm busy. So maybe I'll be able to go see her during the winter. That would be good. And just get them done then. Winter's good anyways. You don't really want to get a tattoo in the summer, especially one on your face, because you're supposed to be protecting it and being careful with it. Mind you, I wear sunscreen every day. Why do I have... What is going on here? Oh my gosh, guys. I have glitter on my face. What did I touch? What did I do? Anyway, when you have a tattoo, you're supposed to be very careful and cover it up with sunscreen and all that. So it's easier to do a tattoo that's going to be on your face in the winter. Pro tip. Okay, let's spray our faces before we get everything else done. So I have my setting spray here from Milani. It's the Peach Make It Last peach scented setting spray. It smells like peach rings. So dramatic. So dramatic. But I kind of like that. I think it's a lot of fun. So while we're going to let that dry, let's start doing something to the lips. Need a lot of mess over here. So we have our NYX lip liner in the shade Nectar. And we're going to line the lips with Nectar. Oh, look. Not sure this is coming out the way I thought it would. May have to rethink this. Oh no, this is fine. It's just a liner. It's fine. Settle down. Like that. There. Okay. I picked a liner that was very, very subtle because I really didn't want to do anything extra because the eyes are so, like, bright. So before we finish our lips, let's go in with our mascara from Fenty. This is the Hella Thick mascara. And I'm really loving this mascara, you guys. And it really is thick, like very thick. It's almost like putting a pomade on your lashes. So if you are working with this, just be aware of that. Because I definitely have gotten this. You know, you do that thing where you blink and you get mascara everywhere. It takes a while for this one to dry before you can flake it off. So try not to do the blink thing to begin with, but if you do, just remember, leave it on for quite a while to let it dry and then flake it off. There we go. Look at that. Such a nice liner. Oh my gosh, Kerr. Mascara. Such a nice mascara. I really like this. I don't always buy high-end mascaras either because I throw my mascaras out so frequently that it almost seems like ridiculous to buy a higher end one, but I know I'm gonna repurchase this. I know I am. I know I am. It's just a beautiful formula. I love it. I really like the way it makes my lashes look. It makes them look hella thick. And I like that. I'm always looking for a really volumizing mascara, and this is it. Let's do the bottom. Try to be careful not to get mascara all over the place. And if you notice too, I only had to dip it into the tube the one time. So everything I'm depositing on my lashes is just from whatever was on the wand. And that's a lot of product. If you think about it, I coated both the top and the bottom lashes twice without having to dip the wand into the tube. So it's a good product. I don't know why my nose is running, you guys. I'm sorry. So last but not least, I know you guys are sick of it, but I love it so much. This is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fussy. And we're just gonna line the lips for a nice frosted pink, an 80s frosted pink lip. There we go. Frosted pink. Yeah. Fun. Okay, what do you think? Do you guys like it? I like it. I love pink, you guys. So anything that's like girly and sparkly and pink on my eyes, I always really enjoy it. I think it's complimentary of my skin tone. So I think it looks nice. Shall we do a fragrance? Let's. How about the Bulgari? This is the Bulgari Omnia Coral Eau de Toilette. As you know, I don't have a lot of Eau de Toilettes in my collection, but this is one of them. And the notes are, for top, we have bergamot, goji berries. Mid, we have pomegranate, hibiscus, water lily. And for the base, we have musk, Virginia cedar. Main accords are floral, woody, fresh spicy, fruity, musky, citrus, aquatic, sour, powdery, and sweet. This is a beautiful fragrance. I love it. However, I cannot see somebody... Now, mind you, you can wear whatever you want. Don't get it twisted. But I will say, I don't see anybody that's like younger than 30 reaching for this, because I just feel like this is a more mature scent, but not mature like necessarily to my age. So I'm 44. So I can definitely see somebody in their 30s, early 30s reaching for this. It's a beautiful scent. It's a beast. Trust me, it's a beast, honey. It might say eau de toilette, but you know what, sis? I know, I did the thing where you rub. Stop tripping. But you know what? 2 squirts is it. Like, you really don't need more than that. Unless you're trying to choke somebody out. I know, it's an eau de toilette, but I'm telling you, I think the only eau de toilettes that I have in my collection are beast mode. They have a lot of sillage. So that means when you're walking, everybody can smell you. And that's off of just 2 standard sprays. And this atomizer goes in. It goes in, honey. So you might spray it and think you're going to do a little something. No, honey. It's here for the duration. So just be aware of that. Either way, that is the look and that is the fragrance. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.